Hello and welcome back to another new episode of the Otakuology Podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike. With me, as always, is Jin. He's 70% heavy weaponry. Graves.
I was like, you son of a bitch. He's 70% heavy. Is that a fat joke? and, then you said weaponry, and I was like, oh, okay. I'll back off of my complaint.
That's what Mr. Reindeer says.
That's true. I feel like the mask was a waste on him, honestly.
I do, because I liked him with the mask. I thought it looked better.
And I have one other complaint on this after really sitting down and thinking about it, that he's basically a cyborg.
Yeah, he is.
Like, why do they give people like these intricate hairstyles that don't seem like they fit the character?
I don't know, but some people think his hair is really, really pretty.
Yeah, it's pink with things in it. Like, you know, I would have either expected him to have some kind of dreads.
Yeah.
Or maybe short hair because he whacked it off with his sword hand. Or to be bald so it didn't get in the way. Or something like that. And then the other thing that comes to mind is, well, also, how does his hair become pink and whatnot? Well, it obviously has to be dyed, but you forget that he's also one of those doctor people that's like, oh man, we don't want to harm the animals or whatever. Then why would he support hair dye stuff that probably harmed animals in the making?
You also forget we're in an anime.
Hey, buddy.
And people always have weird hair. So I feel
like logic. Okay,
logic. Okay, logic. But do you want to start off talking about episode 9? I think it's episode 9 is All Aboard.
Yeah,
choo choo.
Because we're in the subway. Yeah, I mean, we're down here and they're trash talking and whatnot. And
Mr. Reindeer is trash talking Sakamoto.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about it before we started the show, but I'm very confused for anybody that has watched this. Like, why was Christmas brought up at all?
Yeah, when you text me that, like, he's like, when did Sakamoto reference Christmas? And I'm like, when did they reference Christmas? Because it's only been like a couple days.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and just how it's kind of brought up, like, it just seemed like what it kind of seemed like is if I was like, oh man, you know, Christmas is the best. And then you said, well, you're annoying for talking this way and I hate Christmas. And it was kind of like, but that whole first part never happened.
It very much seemed like he was having like one of his, like he was having a villain temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Is what he was having.
Because I watched this part 3 times trying to figure out, like, did I miss something? Is there something?
I love that Sakamoto just jams his pen into the gun mouth.
The mouth gun?
The mouth gun.
Yeah.
And it just blows up, and I'm like, he surely has to be dead, right?
Nope.
Because according to Sakamoto, this guy's immortal.
Yes.
He is immortal.
Which so leaning into my other passion, just a smidge. So
your passion of shooting, doing boudoir modeling.
Yes. How did you know?
Oh, I know, because you know I'm subscribed to your OnlyFans. Just saying.
Oh well, as you know, for you and other people, for $7.99 a month, you can subscribe to my OnlyFans and see my boudoir pictures. Now there is no full nudity, but
sometimes you might get a nip slip.
Yeah, but if you want to, on my pasties, sometimes I'll write your name to the highest bidder, I guess, you know. And if you like that, you can go to my Amazon and get me like one of those little elephant trunk thong things. That'd be amazing.
Oh man,
didn't lose a beat there, did we?
No.
No, but I mean, my other passion being D&D. So there's this little thing on YouTube. You'll have to watch it. They're like about 3 or 4 minutes long, but it's by Dungeon Soap or
Uh-huh.
Dungeon Soup. And this guy is called the Chaotic Good Barbarian.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, like uh his first episode, he's talking to a lich and he talks about all this other stuff, and he basically tells him like, I'll rip your arms off, and he goes, I'll basically like put you on a spear and put you on my back.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so like he's this kind of guy. Well, later on you see where he fights a witch and he helps her finish her potion, and it's like, now you're a fool, you've helped me. And he goes, no, I just would prefer my playthings to be like indomitable so they don't break easily. And
Mm-hmm.
goes like ham on this witch. And he turns around and the lich is still on his back.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something like that really made me think about this instance where Sakamoto's like, oh, you're immortal? I don't have to like hold back then. Like, let's go, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what it made me think about, was the Chaotic Good Barbarian on
And
I want to beat things up.
and to go off of that, I feel like Sakamoto doesn't hold back in this episode when it comes to a reindeer robot guy.
Oh, I would say not until after he says, oh, well, I'm immortal. Like he acted like he let it slip, but it was like
Yeah.
he was trying to like let it happen. And then Sakamoto just decimated the field.
But we end up switching over from Sakamoto and Reindeer Man's fight to Seba slash Shin slash, I forgot his name. What's his name?
Seba, Shin, and
Heisuke.
Heisuke, yeah.
Heisuke in their fight, because we witnessed last episode that Seba gets wounded by Heisuke, and we thought Seba was dead.
No, Seba.
Little did we know that Seba is not dead. He did get wounded, but he ends up fighting Heisuke, which this fight was kind of brutal, I feel like, when it came to him fighting Heisuke, because I feel like Heisuke was kind of very much at a disadvantage.
I agree with that. I think he was. I think he really knew like part of the stuff like up front though, so that was a good part as well.
Yeah.
But that he had more problems out of it than he did, because also we had not Shin, the other guy, kind of like come up out of nowhere to the second floor.
Oh, Heisuke, yeah.
Not Heisuke, the other guy.
Oh, Seba.
Seba, yeah.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But it did answer one of our questions, because we were both thinking he had the power to turn invisible when it was just his clothes.
Yeah, which is interesting because he covers his body and he wears like a sort of like a mask. Like a I don't know, like it's like a not like a bandana, but like a cover for his like half his face. And he's like, oh, like the clothes make me invisible. His head is not covered at all.
Maybe it's got a range.
Like the top is not covered. I don't know if his hands were covered or whatever, but he's very like much like hand to hand close quarters combat as a fighter. I love the scene where Heisuke like shoots him in the shoulder, and Seba like plays a trick, and he's like, "Oh man, you blew off my arm."
Oh
His
yeah,
arm was just invisible.
Stupid as shit. I was like, what the fuck?
And I was like, wait, did he really just blow off his arm? He's like, no, he didn't blow off his arm. But he's very much like taking Heisuke to town, and we've seen some really cool like fight stuff in this, to where he's able to take part of his clothing and turn his knives invisible. He ends up knocking Heisuke onto the floor, almost severely hurting him, I think.
Yeah, because he stabbed him in the shoulder.
Yeah, he stabbed him in the shoulder, and Heisuke like does like a final shot because he has like one more bullet. Which this bullet catch was pretty freaking epic. With Heisuke,
was it the one when he shot on the ground, or when he got the bullet from Heisuke?
He gets the bullet from Heisuke, I think it is.
Okay, I like the other one where he like it was after he got stabbed in the shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, I can still fight," and he like shot it sideways, so it bounced off a wall and like ricocheted and hit what's his face,
Oh yeah,
Seba, in
that was
the
cool
other
too.
shoulder,
Yeah.
and you're like, "That okay? That was pretty cool. That was
Yeah,
pretty cool."
no, like he did some pretty cool stuff for somebody who's just a sniper. Like
Yeah,
he's a pretty cool like character, I feel like.
yeah, and I mean, we got the really cool thing because even though he was mad at Sakamoto and Shin and stuff, like for lying to him,
Yeah.
like he was like, my friends say that I'm the best sniper that they know, and I'm not gonna let them down, you know.
Yeah.
And so we kind
Yeah.
of had that weird, irrational, like part of him where he's like
He's like these
goofy,
yeah, these are my friends.
but he got serious and whatnot. And you know, they've kind of, I guess, mowed over their differences, and I would say that's probably from all the free food. But
Yeah. Well, no, it was very much I feel like a hero moment in a sense.
yeah, yeah,
Like he's like, yeah, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna show you type of thing. And he like shoots and it ricochets off some stuff and hits something. We don't know what it's like it hits. But Seba thinks it misses. And we find out that Heisuke hit like the sprinkler system,
yeah,
which causes rain to come down, and Shin ends up seeing him and like does this pretty cool like Hurricanrana like takedown move. Like I thought it was really cool. Like the whole fight, like the whole mixture of their styles was really cool,
yeah,
and
yeah.
how it blended together.
Well, and I think this whole scene was really good. Like, I hate to say it, I actually really enjoyed the Hisuke Shin Seba fight even more than the Yamamoto
I
fight.
mean, it was fun. It was a fun
I
fight.
mean, it was great, and then you also got the whole part where we're at the end where Shin's trying to talk to him. He goes, "You know, listening to your thoughts is way harder than what you think."
I love that his thoughts are just doodles.
Yeah. Well, and then this one was even worse because it was all like it had kanji around it and
Yeah.
everything else too. And I was like, yeah, no wonder that's a lot more
You know,
complicated
you
than
know,
everybody else's
you know
thoughts.
what it kind of reminds me of?
What?
Doodle Bob.
Doodle Bob.
Like the doodle version of SpongeBob. Like
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Like the weird thing was is we knew what happened. I really wonder if you showed somebody the pictures first if they would understand the same thing.
Like I liked how Shin had to decipher like these three pictures and figure out, okay, what are we doing?
Yes.
It just made me laugh so hard because they reference his thoughts at the beginning of this episode, I think, as well, right?
Whose?
Like not Seba's, Hisuke's.
Not this one. I think it's in the last episode
Okay, okay.
where he's thinking about it and Shin's deciphering it.
Yeah, yeah. And we also find out Lou is escaping with Professor Guy, and they take the kidnapper hostage, which was really funny.
Yes.
I thought that was really funny. She's like, "Nah, you're coming with us. You're our
No,
hostage.
you're not going
You're
anywhere.
not going anywhere." But we end up getting back into the Sakamoto reindeer fight, right?
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is where my remembrance of this episode is kind of like dodgy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we get this really cool thing where we get the line that you brought up about reindeer saying, "My body is 70% heavy
Oh yeah.
weaponry,"
Oh
and
yes, because he's like,
he
bring out your
goes,
weapons.
you don't have any weapons. As an assassin, you can't be unprepared. And he goes, but I am prepared. And Sakamoto pulls out a mechanical pencil, a set of stickers, and
A
a sheet.
pamphlet for this store, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, so they start fighting. He's getting ready for all this stuff. And Sakamoto basically like uses the mechanical pencil and with his pinky flicks the lead.
I like it that he clicks the mechanical pencil really fast.
And you knew what he was doing because the lead starts coming out, and you're like, "Man, I've been there
I
before.
was like, we've all done that.
We've done that." And then he like takes his pinky and like flicks it so hard, and it like a needle goes into the left eye of reindeer guy.
Which I really like this when it goes into his eye. it like we get like the point of view. He's like, oh, you're playing like dirty or whatever, you know, like really you're attacking me with pencil lead. And we get the point of view where like half the screen is like red, so we're looking at through Reindeer's like point of view,
Yeah, it's
and like
just bloody and
yeah,
stuff.
it's bloody and red, and then you just see Sakamoto throw a sticker, and it covers the other eye
Yeah.
while we're looking through his point of view. I
Yes.
thought that was just a really nice little touch, and it made me
Yes.
laugh so hard.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
And then it went kind of, I felt like it almost kind of turned into Hard Boiled's fight where he threw him through the wall.
Oh yeah,
And
they went through like the subway.
yeah, they went through like a wall into like a subway car, through another wall, ended up on a
Yeah.
subway car again, and then they kind of fought more, which I'm just gonna say, like, the fighting wasn't really anything to write home about. Like, we've had much better fight scenes in this already, but it
I
was it was everything else that happened around the
It was
actual
like
fight.
the comedic parts with the
Yeah,
fight.
like when they
Like
were on when they
they're
were
on
on the train and
they're on the train.
he starts throwing all the passengers,
Yeah.
and Sakamoto starts setting them all back down in the seats
Or
real
like
gentle.
or like when they get into the train, he's like, I'm thirsty, and he grabs the water and starts drinking it, and like it goes right through him because he has like a hole in his stomach.
Yep, yep. And
Or
then
when the old lady
he's
gets on the train
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and stops, they stop fighting.
Yeah. Well, and then where he's like looking around, he goes, this Sakamoto guy, he's such a great assassin. I can't find him anywhere. And then like
He's
he's
right
talking
next
about
to
it.
him.
It's Sakamoto's skinny Sakamoto again, and he's sitting beside him, and you're like, what?
I was like, what's he? And he like drop kicks him.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
the amount of space he had to fucking drop kick him was like probably little to none.
Yes.
Like the way the trains are laid out, I feel like.
And then like basically through the train, like
Yeah, through the train, and they ran into another train, I think it was.
yeah. But I mean that whole part where he was throwing the people, that was hilarious to me. Sakamoto setting everybody down, and then he would use like part of the other things that were flying through the air, like cut open a bag of candy or cookies or something. He gave it to a kid, and then there was a bottle of juice, and he stuck it in an old man's hand, like all this different stuff, and you're like, what?
Yeah, like what?
That's
What's good?
crazy.
Yeah,
And
but
then
go
and
ahead.
then my other favorite part was where he kicked Sakamoto out of the train, and
That's what it was.
he goes to turn around and sit back down by the one of the old ladies they let in,
Uh
and
huh.
Sakamoto basically like ninja runs all the way through the end of the train, jumps through, and then comes back up to find him again.
Yeah, yeah,
And you're like, what?
yeah. The you have to feel like definitely uh throw away your like sense of like physics. I feel like while watching
Yes.
this.
Well, and it comes down to like what I keep saying about the whole thing. It comes down to it's a comedy. Even
Yeah,
though there's action in it, it's still a comedy.
and it's done very well.
It is. It is done very well because, I think that it doesn't strive away from trying to be actiony.
Yeah,
It owns the fact that it is a comedy and that all this stuff happens. That's why we get these little segments like the water thing where it's like, oh, I'm thirsty, drinks the water, and there's a big hole in him. You know, like different things like that we get where it's like, oh my god, this is a comedy. Yeah, because you're not supposed to take any of it really that serious.
yeah. I love when he like he's sitting down and Sakamoto's in front of him. I think it is, and Sakamoto stops him and he's like, "Hey, this is priority seating," and he lets the old woman sit down, and then they go in between. The reindeer man goes in between the train, and Sakamoto follows. And at this point, it very much felt like Sakamoto was stalking him.
Yeah.
And
When they were in the in between area.
yeah, and you just see him like start pummeling him,
Yes.
which was so funny because the old lady just sitting there like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on," you know. And we see Sakamoto, Fist of the North Star, you know, it up
Yeah.
in the train.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean it was great. And of course, like after that, they get done, they fight in the terminal a little bit. Sakamoto kicks his ass, basically up to where the gate is, and then to add insult to injury, comes and checks his card at the gate so that it
Yeah.
falls up and the guy falls over.
Yeah, and he throws him in the trash.
Yes.
He
So I
throws him in
mean,
the truck for the trash man.
yeah, I mean, we have all this stuff that happens. It's just really funny like that. And like one thing that we forgot to add in is bits and pieces of it we have where reindeer is remembering
Slur.
slurs. I
Yeah.
always called him X, and I was like, wait,
No,
no, that's not
X
what
or
I call him.
slur is fine, I feel like.
Yeah. Slur, and like we know like different stuff. And like one of the things that I liked is when he first made his appearance, he took the reindeer helmet off
Yeah.
and he had that string that made the X over his lips.
Yeah.
And we actually see what that's a reference to. And this was Slur had like blood and made an X on his face, and it was in the same areas.
Yeah, because like reindeer basically, I think he killed a bunch of people for being mean or something like that.
Yeah, he killed a bunch of people for being mean to a cat.
Yeah. And people were kind of talking like, oh, like, why would you do that? All for a cat, this and that. And he's like, what are you talking about? I did something good. I helped this cat. And then you see in the background this guy walking through, which is Slur, and these people start dropping like flies.
Yeah, yeah,
Like just blood splurting everywhere. And he's like in shock. Reindeer is in shock. And he gets basically like anointed with that X of blood over his mouth.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're one of my like knights now.
yeah, yeah.
I knight you, Sir Reindeer.
Right. Reindeer
Yeah.
of the Science Order, okay.
Oh yeah, he's part of the science order, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and things like that. I mean, they were really cool.
Yeah. I like
Touches
the
to it.
effects they had on that where it was like all black and white and it was
Yeah,
almost like sketchy a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like that stuff was really cool, and then of course, like when we get to the end, all the way
Where
wherever.
we find out that the lab is going to explode, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And Shin, they basically have like 5 or 10 minutes, I think it is, to get everybody out. And
yeah,
they use Shin's clairvoyance to track where everybody is,
yes.
which I thought this was a really cool scene, like how he expands upon his power.
Well, and I like how he even like he branched Heisuke off and he branched Lou off first.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the whole thing where he gets to talk to the doctor for a second by himself.
Yeah,
And they're running down the hall and he goes, I couldn't do this without this power you gave me. And then he obviously tells the doctor to, go off in this direction because there's another person over there. But like you realize how like we've been seeing it only in combat, but all the other good things that this ability does.
yeah. And then he inevitably runs into Slur of all people.
Yeah, which I question why he was just sitting there. Like,
Me too, because he stops Shin in his tracks.
yeah, because I was like, why wouldn't he just be standing there, like, or whatever? But he was actually sitting down.
He was sitting on like a pile of bodies, I think it was.
I thought it was a box.
Maybe, I don't know. It looked like bodies to me.
Well, it could be the science unit guys in their white suits because it was a white box.
Maybe. And we also, while this is going on, the Order, the two characters from the Order, I forget what their names are. They are looking at surveillance footage trying to find if Slur is actually here, and it turns out he actually is. Which was a very interesting little tidbit I feel like they added.
But they're like, we can't see his face because of where the line is on the camera.
Yeah.
I was like, that is, but you're looking at it and you're like, you can kind of really see what it looks like. It's like a little tiny line, that's covering up like his mouth. And I'm like, how can you guys not tell? Like, that's what his face looks like.
Yeah, yeah. But they do end up, which Slur just kind of like walks away.
Yeah.
at this
after
point.
after freaking Shin out.
Yeah, which I don't really know why this scene was in here, really, to be honest.
I think this scene was in there because I think we needed him in the place for the other two members of the order to see it, and we had it in here for that little warning he gave to Shin for Sakamoto.
Yeah, what does he say to him? I forgot what he says.
He tells him, he basically says, "Hi, Shin," blah 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 blah, and he goes, "Just tell Sakamoto hi for me," or something like that. Like, it's not really this big grandiose
Yeah.
thing, but like Shin gets the full blood rage intent of what it is. And I would kind of compare it to like what Sakamoto does when he thinks about killing Shin.
Yeah. But like 10
Um,
times worse,
yeah, yeah.
it seems like.
So, and and I wouldn't say 100% like it was 10 times worse. I think it was Sakamoto does it almost for fun. I feel like,
Yeah, he does.
while this guy does it like with blood rage in
How do
his
you think he knew
feelings.
Shin could read minds?
Because they had been at the place forever.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta remember, like, all these doctors were over the place for like ever.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
That's why they had one of them reached out to try and go get Shin, was because, hey,
Yeah,
and
I forgot about that.
and he's the one that actually sent him to go find Shin. Remember?
Did he?
Yeah, because we thought it was going to be reindeer because they kept talking about their leader, and then we
Yeah.
find out that no, it was Slur because he wanted to know more about Shin's powers and how he got them and
I
stuff.
guess I must have missed that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it was kind of in the reindeer guy praising of Slur and like, oh, Slur, please unzip your pants and let that big dick hit me in the face. Like
yeah,
that's
I felt that as well.
I mean, it's kind of like reindeer guy is like. I mean,
Please, sir, may I have some more?
yeah, sad to say. I mean, it's like I would almost say it's on the same level as like the girl that was with Hard Boiled,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where like everybody else she was really cold to until she warmed up, and like Hard Boiled, she was like, "That's a real man."
There's a real man's man right there.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of how Reindeer was. Everybody else was like garbage and whatnot,
Yeah.
and then Slur, he was like, "Oh my god, you're the
Oh
best. Can
yeah.
can I marry you, senpai?"
But
So
no, everybody ends up getting rescued. Lou says she's sorry. We did get this little scene with where Lou reunites with Shin, and I feel like something might be there.
are you talking about when they were eating after?
No, when they were like they meet in the hallway at the lab, and they kind of have like this bashful, like what's going
Oh,
on
yeah,
at the
yeah.
thing. When then they jump right into like brother sister arguing mode, basically. So like I wonder if they're possibly plotting out a potential love thing for Shin and Lou,
Who
maybe
knows?
going forward. I don't know, or maybe she's just so happy to see Shin. I don't know.
Who
But yeah,
knows?
they end up having like a big like reunion of all the scientists and Shin, and they're all like so proud of Shin that he's all grown up to be like a good guy. He's so amazing, stuff like that.
He's so tall.
He's so tall. That's what everybody keeps saying. He's so tall. Oh.
He grew up to be handsome, like, all these things that were like the opposite of what they thought when he was a child.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the episode kind of just ends. With them.
Well, we have where they have the dinner thing
Yeah,
after that.
sorry, they have the dinner thing. Yeah, or
And then that's
go ahead.
where Hana and Aoi and everybody are like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
Which that whole part we did have the kind of cute thing where um um Heisuke was there, so I really
Oh
wonder if
yeah.
Heisuke is going to end up joining to work at the shop. because he was there eating with them.
I really hope he doesn't join the shop. I just hope he like is just as a casual shopper who kind of just hangs around and like comes in just to chit chat or whatever.
I don't know. It might be funny because he's not good at anything. So
I mean, he's
he
not good at anything.
he might be closer to a Lou than a Shin,
Maybe.
stocking the shelves and be like,
But
"Oh,
I
okay."
kind of like when you get like those people who are at like you have like those people at like a gaming store, like a comic book store. They come in and just chit chat for hours and don't do anything.
Yeah, like regulars.
Yeah, like I want him to be like a regular, but he just comes there for like the free like meat buns that are kind of going bad or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
want
know.
him to be a part of the store, but I want him to be an ally.
I don't know. Because Aoi was like, everybody make sure to throw your clothes in the laundry hamper.
Yeah.
So, and of course, we get where Shin takes some food from Lou, and then they start fighting over stuff, and
And then Sakamoto kills them in his head.
yeah, and then Shin's obviously the only one that sees it.
Yeah, which is funny.
So,
That joke is still funny to this day.
yeah, yeah,
Like, it makes me laugh. But let me ask you, what
yeah.
did you think of this episode?
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For, for me, when trying to remember it, everything seemed to blend together.
yeah,
And I didn't remember what order of which it was in. I'm like right now, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page.
yeah,
And it says despite being wounded, Seba is able to ambush and wound Hisuke. Where I'm like, that didn't happen at the very beginning. They had the fight with Sakamoto and Reindeer. Like, I feel like
yeah, yeah. You're
no,
like,
but
I could write a better Wikipedia article than this.
I ended up enjoying it. I feel like it had a very satisfying end, and like not one person like took the like spotlight in this. Like it was evenly distributed. I felt like where we
Yeah,
got a little bit of everybody kind of in this. With
yeah. The only person I would say I don't feel like was in it as much as they could have been was like
Lou,
Lou.
yeah,
Yeah,
Lou, yeah. But it definitely really makes me like I was already a fan of Hisuke, but like it definitely makes me like even more of a fan because
yeah,
he's just like such a likable, I feel like down to earth, like relatable person.
yeah, yeah,
Like he's just so like him and his banter with Shin is just really funny.
yeah.
That was like probably like my favorite part was their whole thing and their whole interactions.
Well, and I think we're gonna have to have like a timer of how fast Sakamoto comes back from being skinny Sakamoto, because like the last time it took like overnight of like continuous eating, and then this time it was
From what I
like
remember,
hours.
in the manga, he can only stay. I mean, unless they changed it for the anime, he can only stay skinny for like I want to say maybe a minute or two, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly. I don't like it's a very short period of time, kind of like with what's his name? Is it Tiger and Tiger and Bunny? I forget what his name is. The guy who's like can only have his power for like 5 minutes.
yeah. Both of them are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That from what I remember, I have to go back and read it, but like when he turns into skinny Sakamoto, he's not unless I'm misremembering it, he's skinny only for like a couple of seconds.
oh, I have
And,
no clue.
and like it goes away. So I don't unless I'm
Which one of the
misremembering.
which one of the things that they were talking about, like in the when he turned into it the last time, was that um he had to like put those calories back on.
Yeah.
So, and that one it was like overnight, and this one it was like a few hours, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
how did I already get chubby again?
I
Like,
really I really don't want them to rely on that, to be honest.
yeah, yeah,
Like as a crutch when he's in fights and stuff.
yeah,
Like I want it to be used very sparingly.
yeah, yeah,
Because I kind of like it that he doesn't really pull it out all that much.
yeah.
He just,
Ooh, you want him to pull it out more, you pervert?
yeah, yeah, all the way out. You know, just unfurls on the table.
No, but
Yeah, no, I enjoy this. I felt like this whole little mini arc was a lot of fun. And we definitely get a lot more Shin in this and his backstory.
yeah,
Like his backstory definitely is very much expanded. More than Lou's, I feel like, because Lou only got the one episode. So I feel like Lou is possibly getting the short change in this manga or anime.
yeah. Well, and I'd say yeah to that because like in the opener, like it's Shin and Sakamoto,
Yeah.
in the last little
I
panel.
mean, we are reading a boy's manga. Just
That's
saying.
true. That is true.
It's
So,
boy time. It's boy
but
time in this manga.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think everybody else that watches it will enjoy it, and
I hope so, because we're coming up close. I think like it's like 11 or 12
yeah. Which
episodes.
they did change the ender, I believe. So
Did they?
I think so.
I think it was the same ender as the beginning.
I don't know.
Yeah, but we're coming up on because I think it's two cores. So I don't know, like because they said it's supposed to come back in July. I think it is.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a little bit to where like we won't have Sakamoto. Um, I think it's 11 or 12 episodes. Is this first season? I think maybe or
Okay.
the first part of this first season. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ending soon. So we're gonna have to find something else to talk about.
We got plenty to talk about. We still got Gungraves and
I know.
the other one.
The other one,
Yeah. Creature
yeah,
Commandos.
yeah, Bubblegum Crisis. You know,
What? I don't remember that one.
yeah.
I don't remember that one.
But no, I thought this was a good ending to this little story arc. I like that they keep the story arcs like short
Yes.
and they're not like an entire season.
This is true.
Definitely breaking the mold of Shonen Jump.
Yes.
Yeah, which I found out this is like manga is still going on, so it's like 21 volumes right now at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how long is it going to keep this up?
Who knows?
Like, are we going to get like over 100 volumes of manga? I mean, like, My Hero didn't even go for how long did My Hero go for? Like, like 30, 25, 30 books?
I think it was over 30 because I think I'm on like 29 right now,
Yeah.
and it's still fairly early, so I think it's 30 something, maybe like
Did
37. That sounds right.
did you see? I remember I sent you the trailer. Did you watch that new My Hero trailer for Vigilantes?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I kind of like distance myself from the My Hero like anime and manga and stuff. Like I jumped off like I think like right before the villains arc or whatever.
yeah.
But I really liked Vigilantes.
You're like, I really like Knuckle Duster.
I really like Knuckle Duster. But yeah,
Yeah,
like I'm kind of excited. Like they're adapting Vigilantes because that's just like a random spin-off manga that like I don't think anybody talks about. Like I think is it still being published or it ended?
uh, I think it ended. I think it ended before the regular series ended.
Okay, because like I remember that came out and it kind of got hot for a little bit, and then like I died down pretty fast because I don't think Horikoshi was. I think he was supervising it, but he wasn't like drawing it or writing it
Yeah,
and stuff. And like I'm just excited because that was the part of My Hero that I actually really liked was Vigilantes. Like
yeah.
I liked it that they weren't attached to the school. with his weird sliding powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hope that comes over here and it gets adapted because I want to cover it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, so next episode of the podcast, we too will get to hear Mike because he has homework.
oh no, I have homework.
Yeah, I need you to watch. So I need you to watch some Dungeon Soup, so you know what I was referring to with the chaotic good barbarian.
Uh, so wait, we're not talking about Sakamoto Days episode 10.
We are, but like
Oh,
we're just gonna lightly touch on it.
I'll see if I remember to watch it.
Oh, you will.
I'll see if I remember to watch it because I might be busy playing Suikoden HD collection. Just saying.
Oh, you will be watching it before you play Suikoden in the HD.
I don't know. I just
The
installed it.
the funny thing is, it's like you could sit at work and get through because they put stuff out slow, like maybe once a month, and there's not that many episodes.
Uh
They have
huh.
different storylines of things that you can watch,
Yeah.
but the only one I'm saying like to watch is the Chaotic Good Barbarian,
Okay. Okay.
and it's
I'll try to find it.
and you don't have to watch the fucking episode that's like 12 hours long because it's a joke episode. So
You know what I got really excited for the other day is the new Devil May Cry anime that's coming out.
yeah.
Like I'm super excited for that. And they're making a Suikoden anime.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I hope that comes over here so we can cover it on the podcast.
Yeah, because I like the Suikoden manga.
I know, but that's only the third game in the series.
So you shut your whore
You
mouth,
know what's
Mister.
funny? The
What?
third game is technically the last game in the series,
Yeah,
timeline wise.
yeah,
Because the whole, like, they're all kind of like interconnected on the same world. And that's like the last, chronologically, that's the last game. Which
yeah,
I hope they actually re release that game because I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Like, if you play it. Did you ever play?
yeah.
Did you ever
No,
play them? You ever play the Suikoden games?
nope.
Oh my god, you're missing out, buddy.
Uh-huh.
You're missing out, my friend.
Well, everybody else is missing out too for now.
Why?
But because they haven't played them either.
Okay, I mean it's a pretty popular series.
But where can everybody find us at?
So we are on all major podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast. If you want to rate and review the podcast, do so. It helps people find the podcast. You can find us on our Instagram at Otakuology Podcast or our YouTube Otakuology. And yeah, that's kind of where you can find us at.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
you know, we
you
love
know.
our fan base. All you guys, y'all are great. So it's the spirit of that. We'll see you next Tuesday.